What's up, everybody? Welcome to Cornhole Geartalk, presented by West Georgia Cornhole and Titan Bags. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm with my co-host, Kendall.
What's going on, everyone?
And Josh.
Howdy, howdy.
So, Josh, what are we talking about today?
We're going to be generally talking about cornhole bags and kind of the accessories and maybe some methods of breaking them in and just kind of the culture around bags amongst the ACL season.
So, who would have thought that we would get to a point in a game, like a backyard game, where there are accessories for your bags and there are accessories for your accessories?
Oh, yeah.
It just goes down
I'm
the
looking
line.
at you, Zooka bags.
Yeah, and then there's decorations
God.
your accessories to your accessories.
Oh, are you talking about like patches?
Patches.
Oh, my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, that's serious business out there.
I went down the patch hole for a minute. It's
Yeah.
kind of fun.
I
They're nice.
love the patch stuff.
I do
I
too.
hate, because my bag that I bring in now for my laptop, like I've got it covered in some patches, but it's an awkward number to where it just looks like I feel like I shouldn't have them on there. And so, yeah, I
Like
need to get
awkward
more.
is like you don't have enough, or
Well,
you have
it's-
too many.
Well, it's awkward to where I feel like it's the right amount, but I've got a lot of duplicates, and that's just embarrassing.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not cool.
I know.
Well, it was good talking with everybody this week. We're gonna have to end the episode there.
Well, no, now I just assume that way if somebody comes up and says something, I'm like, well, give me a patch. If you can't fix it, don't make fun of me, you know?
Fair.
Here's a funny thing, and everybody can. This has probably happened to almost everybody. You go to a cornhole tournament, you put your bag on the ground,
And someone steals it.
you get home. You get home, you're like, oh, I left my bag. Now, I'm sure that happens.
Oh,
No,
I'm sure.
but you get home and then you realize there was a patch on my bag that was not there before.
Oh, yeah. It's a great way to market, honestly.
Yeah.
That has happened to me many times, where there's somebody just running around doing some guerrilla marketing and they just slapping patches on people's bags.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad about it.
Oh, no, I never am. It's like, oh, that's neat.
I'm also curious about the amount of patches that just fall off and are all over the floor, like after like Worlds. Because obviously they're pretty stuck on there, but there's got to be a good number of them. You
Yeah,
just
you
find patches all over the ground.
Remember that patch we found in here one day after one of the leagues?
The robot one?
the robot.
The Robo Goat or whatever?
The Robo Wolf or something. I
I
can't
thought
remember.
it was the goat. It was the throwing goat, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that for? I can't remember what company.
It's
that was
still
with.
glued to the desk out
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Oh yeah, I super glued it to the desk.
What's the craziest patch that you've ever seen? Because there's some good ones out there.
My favorite ones, I've got a couple. I'm shooting at one. It's a McDonald's logo. Play off the McDonald's logo.
I love the parody patches.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
So good.
I think my all-time favorite, though, is the Blockbuster logo, and it says Block Bag. That's probably my all-time favorite.
I'll say my favorite, I think, is there's the Champion logo, but it just says Cornhole, but it's the Champion
that one's
logo.
nice
That's
too.
probably one of my favorites, and the UPS one.
Yeah, what is it? The Send It or the Airmail? I've seen
Well,
two.
no, the Airmail it's made to look like the USPS logo.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I can't remember what the UPS one says.
I actually have a picture of it right here somewhere. I'm not digging for that right now, but
Golly.
Jamie, can you bring up the logo, please?
Let me just grab our resident genius, Chris.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
He can start pulling stuff up for
Yeah,
us
yeah.
during
Yeah,
the
there we go.
podcast.
Yeah, when are we going to get to that point where we have a guy who you don't get to see? but
Well, if people use coupon code Geartalk right up there at westgeorgiacornhole.com or titancornholebags.com, hey, we might get a
Yeah,
budget one day.
exactly. And then we can have a guy that you never see but brings up photos.
that'd be
That's
nice.
right.
That's what everybody wants.
Come on, treat you boys.
All right. So I guess the first thing that's making me think about bags and kind of where we're at in the season is, one, we're getting close to Worlds, or we're really close to Worlds, and we're also really close to Spencer's, two of the biggest cornhole events of the year. And so my first thing is, one, how to event like that's huge, and like Worlds is going on for almost a full week. How many sets of bags are you bringing to an event like that? One, if you're a pro, and then one, if you're like kind of a casual to, advanced player.
I think you kind of got two sides to it, Like, there's some people, they've got one set of bags, they're bringing it, and that's what they're throwing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got other players that'll switch around. But as a pro, I feel like the minimum, they've got to have at least 3 sets minimum, even if they only throw one bag no matter what, because they got to have the different colors.
Yeah.
So I feel like that plays a lot into it. I know Jay, he carries, golly, I think I saw 4 or 5 different sets.
Mm-hmm.
got a little sneak peek at his bag on one of the lives. He had like 4 or 5 different sets of Titans whenever he was at the shootout.
Normally he has Prowlers and Thrashers.
Yeah, and he's got like, I think he's got 2 colors of each
Mm-hmm.
at every tournament he goes to. That's one big thing that I'm glad I don't have to think about is just having the right colored bags.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Man, so I have this bad habit
Mm-hmm.
where whenever I'm getting ready to head to work in the mornings,
Mhm.
if I haven't finished my coffee, I'll bring my mug with me.
Yeah.
And, I'll drink the coffee on my way into work, but then I'll never take the mug back in my house when I return home.
You don't.
And so I'll just, put it in the back seat.
Yep.
Yep. And then eventually it'll just sit there and it becomes, part of the ecosystem of my truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so I wonder how many people have a set of bags in their bag, their bag.
Yeah.
It's just a permanent resident, but they never really interact with them.
That's essentially just a shelf for the bags that they do
Yeah.
use.
Yeah,
Mm.
honestly.
Yeah. Because, in my cornhole bag, I have that set.
Yeah.
There is a set that I never throw with, but I feel uncomfortable if it's not there.
That's
Mm.
literally me. I've
Mhm.
got I'd say first of all, I've got 3 sets of Venoms and 2 sets of Prowlers, but under those I've got I think Tyrants and Devastators and then Talons. And those Tyrants, I don't think I've thrown them once.
Mm.
They've been
See,
in my
that's me with
bag since I bought
Devastators.
them, but I do not think I've thrown them.
Mm.
If you can guess what that set of bags is that is in my bag, then I will
Are they
give you.
current Tyrant bag or Titan bags?
I already know the answer.
Or are
You
they,
do?
Yeah, what do I get?
Let's go with $5.
Air Force Ones.
Oh, you were close.
Mm.
What are they?
It's the
F-35s?
The F-35s.
Dadgummit.
The retro?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Those-
That's
That
the
was
reason I
my
was asking,
second
because I knew if they weren't Titan, I knew they were going to be those.
Mm,
I don't know what they would be if they were Titan for you.
mm.
I don't know.
Pretty much all the Titan bags in my bag I use.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're a Devastator and Tyrant guy to me.
I am a Devastator and Tyrant guy.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what conditions I'm in. I'm going to throw the Devastators if it's a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw the Tyrants if it's moving a little fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for me, as someone who does not have a Zooka, I would love one, but can't really afford that right now.
Once again,
We can get a
Get us-
community Zooka that we can all pass around.
Quick sidebar though. This just popped in my head.
Yeah.
How about some Geartalk patches?
ooh,
Mm.
That just popped in my head. I'm a genius.
I do have a T-shirt design I've been meaning to throw on the
Man.
website. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, continue. We'll get back to this.
But I feel like if I had a Zooka, I would feel the need to fill it up. Like I couldn't imagine bringing my Zooka to Worlds and I've got my one set of like Venoms and that being it's just empty space. Oh.
my stool just
At the same time though, like the Zookas, they're accessoried out.
Oh yeah.
feel
Well,
like-
and the number one thing is like props to them. It's the chair aspect for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's the
That's money.
movable seat that you have. That's the main thing. Even if
Yep.
it could not have a zipper at all on it, and I'd still probably want one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would take honestly if I had a Zooka, I'd put me like a set of Prowlers, like 8 sets of Venoms in there, and then I would just have a mini cooler in there.
Yeah.
dude. And the fact that it is TSA certified,
Yeah.
that's the big one.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, we could have like a whole episode on
Oh yeah.
getting through the airport.
with cornhole bags filled with essentially white
Just-
powder.
Just
If
have
y'all-
one guest after another on the show. Like, what's your story at the
Yeah.
airport?
If y'all have never seen what a cornhole bag looks like under the TSA scanning things, go look it up on the internet. I'm sure you can find it in one of the groups, but it is very convincing that it's not what it is.
Dude, the amount of people who get their stuff cut open, from what
Oh,
I
yeah.
hear, it's crazy.
I think they're starting to become more accustomed to it. Now
Yeah.
they just hopefully now they're only swapping it, but there have been some horror stories. There was like a 1-of-1 set. I don't remember what bag it was, but it was a 1-of-1 set, like expensive set, and it got cut open by TSA.
Mm.
Those guys went crazy.
Yeah, I would have been furious.
Ugh. Yeah, that's not cool.
And what's your opinion on the backpack for cornhole bags?
Well-
is it just a replacement for a Zooka until you get one, or is there a reason that you would prefer to have a backpack? Because for me, as someone who has to generally record, take photos, edit stuff on the go, I prefer the backpack just for access to my laptop, access to having multiple different compartments that are off the ground.
Okay, so let's talk about the Gladiator battle bag for a second.
It's massive.
It's huge,
It's huge.
very huge.
Unnecessary.
but it does have the other pockets in it
Mhm.
for like, okay, you know, we can put the laptop. It's got the pockets for
Mhm.
pins and the cords, and it's got a little tripod holder. You
Mhm.
can put your water bottle. So it's a backpack that has that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's super convenient. Most of what I see from a lot of cornhole players that travel is they have a backpack, but
Mhm.
it's for their clothes. It's for their just other stuff.
Mhm.
And then they've got the Zooka that is it's for their bags.
Mhm.
My biggest issue with the backpacks, so I've always been a backpack guy, which of course just use this code so I can get a Zooka. But
We can get that.
but the biggest thing for me is durability. I feel like
Yeah.
whenever you're lugging around, once you get up to lugging around like 5-6 sets of bags in a backpack,
Mhm.
they do not last. Like it's very difficult to find a
Mm.
bag that will last for more than 6 months.
Yeah.
Because one
That's-
thing that's crazy, I don't feel like busting my backpack out on the table, but mine's just like a generic backpack that has like the Velcro and stuff like that. Like it's not meant for cornhole, but it has the camera bag divider that's like built into the main pocket, and so I can divide 2 sets on either side. It holds 4 sets pretty conveniently.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mhm.
One of the things about the backpack that gets me, that drives me insane, is that there's so much weight.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's a lot of strain on your shoulders and a lot of strain on your back. I'm very surprised, and maybe somebody's done it at this point, then I just don't know about it, but I'm very surprised that somebody hasn't gone the route that a lot of hiking backpacks do,
That have
where
the
they have the
frame.
internal frame.
Yep.
It's like, puts all the weight on your hips. You know, it's got the hip belt,
Mhm.
and that's it. And I would love to see that happen, because the portability of that, being able to, you know, move around, which like a few cornhole tournaments I've been to, that's what I have used. I've brought my hiking backpack with me.
But I guess how much is your average hiking backpack? What are you looking at?
You talking about price wise?
Yeah.
I mean,
Compared to a Zooka, I'm just curious.
100, $150, depending on what brand. I mean, there's some brands that get wild, get up to
Yeah.
300,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like
That's not bad.
yeah. I mean, the one that I have used at cornhole tournaments,
Mhm.
you know, if we're speaking in hiker terms, it's a 40-liter pack.
Mm.
So it's not gigantic, but it has the hip belt. It's got
I
an
don't know why
internal
you'd ever
frame.
want that much water in there.
Bro, do you even hike?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm gonna be honest, if I was at a cornhole event and some guy walked in and had like a giant backpack that required a belt, I feel like that's a little intense. I don't know.
I'll bring it in and show it on
Alright,
an episode,
alright.
because you know it's not intrusive, it's not wild, and it's just comfortable.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't mind the backpack, but I think if I had the choice, I'm definitely going Zooka. So, I mean, just like I said, the accessories, you got a seat, having a seat with you at all times. That's
Yeah, that's big.
That's
crucial.
the main reason I would want one. Because I'm generally just a 2 set of bags person. I generally have my go-to bags, which are generally on the slower end. So something like a Venom or a Thrasher is probably going to be what I'm expecting to throw. And then if it's just a little too sticky, then I'll have a bag like a Tyrant or a Devastator or a Scavenger that's going to be a little bit faster, and that's going to be it. I'm not really carrying more than 2 sets of bags to an event. And so for that, I love the backpack because I'm not carrying around that much weight.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, you've got 3 sets of bags. That's 12 pounds.
Yeah.
You know, so it's going to be that much weight, which over time is going to be heavy, but you're not constantly wearing it. So it's fine. But yeah, I think in the end, the way that things are going and how much movement there is in a cornhole tournament with you moving around and stuff and not having a home base at the tournament, if you will, having the Zooka bag or the rolling bag of some sort, I think is the way to go.
Yeah.
And there are also some other really cool features about the Zooka that are very helpful, which I don't know if you guys know the backstory to Zooka, but it was a backpack that was originally designed for kids with special needs. So
I didn't know that.
the 2 wheels. So if you notice, they have the 2 sets of wheels. It's for ease of pulling up stairs.
Ooh.
So that first wheel catches it, it rolls, hits the second one, so you can easily glide over the stairs without grinding on the rails and causing more friction. And then they started moving out into other like sports and things like that. I believe they hit disc golf first,
Yeah.
and then moved into cornhole, which it's been brilliant.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's taken
Huge.
over
Yeah.
in cornhole for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, just the built-in capabilities of having that which in the game of Cornhole, having the seat is huge.
Absolutely.
And then having the other accessories that go along with it, just things you can attach to the sides of it and the extra storage you can throw on there. It's just super good. I think it's going to remain a pretty serious staple for a long time.
Especially, I can't wait till we have 100% custom printability on them.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, because I think right now they have 15 unique designs you can get. So it's a pretty wide variety. But
You know what I'm mad that didn't catch on? Tell me if y'all remember it. The bazooka bag.
Is that the long bag?
The Chris Cook one? Jersey guy?
Over the shoulder.
That one, that was a really cool design.
I just think if you walk up in there, bazooka bag, they're like, dang, he's only bringing 2 sets. And then it's a bazooka bag. It just looks cool. I like the vibe it puts off.
I was supposed to get one of those, and I never got one.
Same.
Yeah, I remember, I feel like we saw one at the shop one time.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Those are cool, though.
Mm-hmm.
I like the design of it. I think that was very clever.
I like it for other people.
And you know what was cool about it? It had that cool little beer sleeve in it.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was sweet.
Yeah.
That's another thing, like ways to get your beer around. I mean, adult beverages. I don't know if that's acceptable for the ACL now. No telling.
Well, see, with your hiking backpack, you can put the bladder in it. You know what I'm talking about?
It holds up to 40 liters.
Yeah. I'm trying to get spent.
That might honestly be the way to go. That's super easy.
Yeah, man. You play with your backpack on.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's my counterweight, bro.
Yeah, you're training at the end, you take it off and you just
throw it across the room. Oh my god.
Well, no, you wear it and you play mini bags all day. And then at the end you take it off and you're good to go.
There you go.
That's your counterweight for mini bags.
Now, what kills me is the people who walk around with the drawstring bags.
That's where,
Bro.
That's just unfortunate.
Oh,
they're rough. Those things hurt your shoulders if you got more than a set in them.
Oh, they're digging into you.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so just for clarification, Titan, we sell all of our bags with a little drawstring bag.
Yeah.
That drawstring bag is basically just a nice little case for your bags at home.
Mm-hmm.
When I see people walking out at tournaments with it on, I'm like, how are your arms not losing circulation?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, especially because obviously, you get a drawstring bag each set of bags. So if you have more than one set of bags in a drawstring, that's just got to be uncomfortable. But like throwing your bags in the back of the car, like if I'm just going to a league night and I'm only bringing one set, it's perfect.
Right,
Throw it in
yeah,
the back.
yeah,
They're
it
not
really is.
rattling around everywhere, and you can just it's something you don't have to truly keep up with.
Yeah, it keeps them together.
Yeah.
And if you're really starting to get serious about it, dude, get our Cornhole bag pouches. Like that's
Those
that's
are
next
money.
level.
That's what I've been seeing a lot. Like Bruce, he's the first guy I really started seeing doing it, but he throws pretty much one, maybe 2 different sets of bags, and that's all he does. He just see him walking around, pouch in each hand.
I think
That's all
Corey
he does.
Morrison does that. Corey Morrison just shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got
They're
them.
super convenient.
He's got them stuffed. I'm pretty sure he's putting 2 sets in a pouch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. He's really cramming them.
I don't know how.
I know. That's what Austin Schlobbaum told me.
Just got 2 sets of Man of Wars in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work.
Floppy boys.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that blew up out of nowhere was those pouches. I mean,
Dude, yeah.
Because they fit in the Zooka. Like
it's like a different evolution of what's happening with the storage of bags and the portability stuff.
Yeah, and if you put multiple of them in your backpack too, it prevents them from like all the weight wanting to just puddle up into the bottom. Like, at least provides some structure to where if you don't have a 40-liter hiking backpack, it sits on you comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they don't get wet for all the water in there.
And then also, maybe it provides an excuse to have that, that coffee mug set of bags to come out every once in a while.
Yeah.
They're not just getting buried underneath this giant pile of bags in there.
True. Yeah.
They're consolidated, organized. Yeah.
I saw something the other day that seems very interesting. I want to try. I think they're just like these Velcro straps, and it's like
just like the elastic bands that go around. Yeah.
And it holds them in a set, but it's not an entire pouch, and you can get them down real small. Fit a lot of bags in one bag. I want to try some of those.
The next evolution, we're going to start vacuum sealing bags.
Yep.
You remember those, like little freezer bags?
Yeah.
Yep, that's the move.
Yeah, and Zooka is going to come out with a little air mattress pump.
Oh my! You flip it on the side.
Yeah, just your bags just, and you got extra space. You can put some,
But imagine if
beverages
they're
in
all
there.
sealed in there. Someone bumps into your button while you're at like a tournament, and they all start inflating while they're in there.
Oh god!
Oh, that'd be great.
Or you get up on the flight.
Oh
It's
no.
a
Say-
new way to break in your bags, just vacuum sealing and crushing them.
You heard it
probably
here
would.
first, everybody.
Yep. But also, I guess, speaking of breaking in bags and then getting to Spencer's and Worlds and all that kind of stuff, a player like myself, I assumed, like, let's say I wanted to throw at the qualifier. As someone who doesn't throw a lot, I would assume whatever set of bags I bought in August, September, October of last year would probably be getting like right to that perfect sweet spot. And so if everybody who has a stacked Zooka are all of their bags perfectly broken in by now, and then also like pros who are throwing, hundreds of bags a day, is it currently like just a mad scramble to get new bags and try and get them broken in over the next week so that way they feel perfect for, I don't want to say the most important tournament of the year, but kind of. And so, I don't know. I feel like that's got to be happening right now.
That's one thing I would be interested to know is how a lot of those pros go about it. 'Cause you see some of those guys throwing bags that look like they've just been absolutely trash.
yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
got out in the yard and just threw them in the dirt repeatedly for like 3 days. And so that would be, you kind of see it a little bit, honestly, especially with the slower bag, carpet bag players.
Because like Harbaugh's boardwalkers are grimy looking.
Oh, yeah.
But they play crazy.
Yeah. And like you see it. I mean, we've talked about this before. The carpet bag guys struggle at the beginning of the year.
Mhm.
Seems like every year. And I want to know what some of those processes are like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know they've probably got a brand new set in the bottom of that bag somewhere?
Oh, yeah. Dude, whenever Bruce and I were in Pennsylvania for the National, in between games, there were 2 or 3 people outside, and where we were right on the coast of the lake, and there were, I guess I don't know how large the gravel was, but essentially it was just surrounded by gravel, and these people were just intentionally throwing roll bags into the gravel, like in between matches to like continue to break in their bags.
That's funny.
Yeah,
One way to
it's
do it.
aggressive.
Yeah, the one thing that I'll never understand is people who show up to a tournament, buy a set of bags from a vendor, and then go win games with said bags. It's
You're
like,
one of those guys.
I am?
Yeah, you're
No.
Devastators for the Triple Crown tournament.
That is the only time that's ever happened. Ever.
Wait, that you've won a game?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I can't do that. There's just a certain feel. I've got a certain way I break my bags in. There's a certain feel to that bag. Like it's not even like fullness, floppiness, anything like that. But it's the way that fabric feels, the softness of that fabric. I've got a certain way I like it. And I don't mind using other people's bags, but I want my bags feeling like that because it just feels so much more comfortable in my hand.
Yeah, and I think it's just getting used to it, especially
Yeah.
like once
Yeah.
in like even if it's not the same every time you break in the same set of bags. It's like once you're throwing that one set for so long, you get used to how that specific broken feel is.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I would be stressing about that prepping into Worlds.
Well, it's also, going back to the whole cornhole psychology thing we talked about, you've got that sensory input from the bags. And if it feels a little bit different than what you're comfortable with or used to, that could throw you off.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That's always been my biggest thing. Like whenever I go to break in a bag, I get a new set of bags, and it legit will probably be a month before I actually throw that set competitively. Like I bought a set of Prowlers, I think in February I bought a set, and I did not play with them in a game until about 2 months ago.
I think it
That was
depends
just-
on the bag though, for sure.
Yeah, I mean some bags break in faster. Like a Venom, I can get a Venom, break it in, and it'll be ready within a week.
This could be a confusing question, but at what point in a bag's life cycle do you know, okay, I need to go ahead and buy another set of bags and start breaking those in?
Well, one that also ties into, do you care about the stamps every year too? Does it even get to that point, or do you, even if you're not a pro, do you hit 2024 and you're like, oh, I got to buy a new stamp now, I got to buy a new bag? And so I feel like, I don't know, because at what point do you retire a set of bags?
Good example for me. I have a set of Prowlers. Everybody around the shop knows this set. Black set. They are so broken in. Like you would not believe how broken in this set of Prowlers is. And I absolutely love them because they play like a 1, maybe even a 0. They are so slow. They're so floppy. And even on the slow side, they are super drippy. Like amazing bag. but literally no one else can throw them. Like, for me, it fits my niche. I absolutely love it, but other people try and throw them, and they're either stopping short or they're kicking off, and I wound up just retiring that set. Like, they're put up now. I don't touch them, even though it's my absolute favorite set of bags. I just do not touch them because they're
Did you
just
get a bag vault for them?
I probably should. They're setting up on the headboard right now.
Yeah, because that's
My
what I
room
mean.
decoration.
Also, people who are huge bag collectors, what do they do with all of their old bags?
Which, if you didn't know, like, just quick product plug, we have a little, display, like shadow box thing for bags. And it's really cool.
It's really nice.
It's called the Bag Vault. You can check it out on our websites, and you can use the code.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can use code Geartalk
yeah.
on Titan or West Georgia. We have it on both.
That is correct.
They're
But
fully customizable too.
yeah, it's
You
really
get your-
neat to be able to like have that, the old bags that you have, you like won a big tournament with or something that you've retired. And it's like, okay, I'm going to put those up. And
Yeah.
I've got one hanging up in my office, which is cool.
What bags are in them?
The unicorn bags.
Yeah, they are.
Yep.
I feel like those definitely deserved a
Oh yeah.
a sh-
We didn't post those this year for April Fool's Day.
If you don't know, then you're missing out because the unicorn bags are something else.
Is there anything about those anywhere online?
So a couple of years ago, on April 1st,
Yeah.
we posted them as a bag set for sale
For like $1,000.
for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Just to see what people would do. Like, I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody was. I wasn't like, oh yeah, somebody's gonna buy these.
No, we didn't make a
But-
sale.
Like, it's a
I
set
don't
of.
know. In the back of my head, the way people are with cornhole bags, I had a suspicion somebody might.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true.
that's true. Yeah, it's a set of bags that are made out of holographic spandex. And I mean the most uncomfortable feeling bags. There are certain ways to describe the way they feel in your hands.
Like a certain body part.
Yeah. Very strange feeling. And nobody can throw them. But then we had
Except Jay Rubin.
Then we had
Except Jay Rubin.
then Jay comes and gets them. He's like, "Oh, these are weird." And then he just starts airmail after another, just nailing them. I'm like, how?
He was beating people.
yeah, he won a tournament with them.
Yeah.
He
It's
won
just-
a little blind draw up here at the shop with them.
It's
And,
absurd.
Yeah.
like, I kid you not, if I get 2 on the board out of 4, I am ecstatic.
Yep.
And he's just throwing 4-baggers the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, like talking about like retiring bags to the bag vault. So I'm typically like a floppy bag kind of guy. Like I enjoy them, but I've had a few sets where they've broken in too quickly.
Yeah.
Like I had a set of Devastators that I did a lot of outside play with, and just because of them, hitting the ground on a level surface or whatever, and back then my throw was a little higher than it is now. I mean, those things broke in super fast, and my bags got so floppy, kind of in the same way that your Prowlers did. It's like these are too much.
Yeah.
Like I'm comfortable with them, but then if I'm playing with somebody else, like it's obnoxious. They can't control them. They go all over the place. The pellets just move so much inside the bag
Yeah.
too. It's like crazy.
And another thing for the pros, now they have, constantly have to worry about that bag getting so broke in that it doesn't meet
Right.
specs
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
That's a huge one. Golly, that blew up last year. We going to have a bag gate 2024 this year?
I'm sure something.
I have a feeling that just because that happened and it made like Wall Street
It
Journal
made actual
Yeah.
news
and stuff, it's like, okay, we're gonna probably check that a little bit more. You know how
Yeah.
like in baseball you got like after the pitcher comes off the mound, they check his glove, check his hat, make sure he doesn't have any sticky stuff. I'm gonna imagine they'll probably institute something along those lines.
Yeah. Which that goes back to just what we keep saying. There just needs to be an official that's,
Yep.
at least connected to every broadcast game.
Yeah. Because, the way they do it right now, you can check your opponent's bags for every game you play, and if they're out, they're out. They got to get a different set, but I just feel like the same scenario that happened last year, they're like, oh, those bags ain't right, and they checked them, and they're like, well, your bags ain't right, and then their bags weren't right, so now just both players are still throwing the same bags with the exception, like, yeah, we're breaking the rules, but let's do it.
Well, I think the rule now is if the game is started, then it's essentially you agree upon it regardless.
Yeah, once the game starts, it's
Yeah.
set in stone. Cannot change the outcome.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a good rule to imply. Makes
Yeah.
people. If you get up to a board and you see some dude throwing a 14 or a 4-inch bag, then you're gonna be like, yeah, that ain't it.
Dude, if I saw that,
It's like a Titan tennis ball. He's just rolling.
oh my gosh. Or just he walks up with a set of mini bags, you know?
That'd be
Like,
terrible.
I'd let it happen.
I would too, 100%.
I would be like, if you beat me with those,
Oh yeah, I'd be furious.
I'll be impressed, but also angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at that point, you can't call him back out.
He's got to finish the whole tournament.
Imagine. What if they made that a rule? Whatever set of bags you start the tournament with, you got to finish with.
Ooh, I wouldn't like that.
No.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be very hard to police.
Yeah, it would be very hard to police, and like the boards get stickier and faster as the day goes. And so yeah, that would be a bummer.
Yeah,
you check in one set of bags. You don't even get to test the board speeds. That's on one set you throw the entire tournament.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
That'd be horrible. But I mean, that's the type of stuff people were talking about whenever Baggate happened.
Yeah.
Is like the amount of different everybody on Facebook who thought they had the solution. It was all that type of stuff. Like before you go, having to drop off like 6 sets and then they all get checked, and it's like, but it all boils down to like, how do you police that?
Yeah.
There's already not enough officials to watch games, let alone go to all those games and check those bags.
Follow the players around, make sure they don't switch something out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Say the new rule of switching bags mid-game did come into play. Then you start out with a bag that's legal and then just sneakily switch them out for the same bags that aren't legal. That'd be the loophole.
It wouldn't be loophole. It's just cheating.
No. It happens. I feel like that could be.
That'd be like if they just deflated the footballs halfway through the game instead of before. Like it's still cheating, just at a different point in time.
If you don't get called out for it, it's technically not cheating.
It is.
Well, okay. Speaking of weird bag things, let's talk about the new weight stuff.
Oh,
real quick.
Lord.
That's gonna be big.
So, if you're not familiar with what's going on, the new bag policy states that in the same set of 4, you can have different weights of bags.
Yes, ranging from 15.5 ounces to 16.5 ounces.
Was it 0.5 or was it 2.5?
0.5 now. It was 0.75 and 0.25.
Okay.
They gave an extra ounce or a quarter of an ounce on both sides.
Definitely correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm about 90% sure it's 0.5 to 0.5.
So
what
is that going to be a big enough difference for somebody to strategically take advantage of? And if so, what do you think is going to be the outcome of that?
I think we're going to see, honestly, more roll bags coming out of bags that don't normally roll. I think people who have wanted bags to be able to roll because they like the fabric, they like the shape or whatever, I think we're going to see those getting filled to 16.5. And maybe it being, they have 2 bags that have the ability to roll, or I guess just block better realistically, like even if it's not a roll, but just block better than it could beforehand, and then keeping a 16 or a 15.5 as a push bag. I feel like that extra 0.5 to an extra ounce almost is going to make a difference in the shape of the bag for sure.
I was thinking like you're going to see some carpet bags where at least sets of carpet bags people would carry where you've got one bag that's very loose and floppy and light. And then the other are your regular, full carpet bags. And you'll see a block up front and then, an easy block with the loose bag.
Yeah.
And then your thing. But the other part of it though is like that could mess with your rhythm pretty.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bad.
And like if you just have one bag that's, because my thought as well is like if you have a 15.5 bag on the same template, same everything as everything else, it's just going to be a looser, floppy bag. And so yeah, so if someone has a bag hanging in the hole and you don't want to drag that in, you want to have that bag that can snake around and kind of bleed in past it, that's the bag you would choose. And so if someone's playing that way, and so you're holding this bag ready for that reason, and then if it just never comes up, then you just have this awkward bag that plays differently than all the other ones. And then also if you have these, block, roll, whatever extra bags that you're making your own choices for, it also depends on your opponent, like how they play and whether or not that's really going to benefit you. And then so now are people rolling around in their Zooka with 4 of the same sets of bags, but then just all these different weights, and depending on who they're playing against, they mix and match their weights.
I feel like that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly, though, I'm looking at this from the other side of y'all. I think it's going to be the slick bag guys who are going to benefit the most.
Really?
You take a Ravager Fury and get it at the very bottom, minimum thickness, that bag is going to sneak and melt 10 times better than it already does. And that is going to be insane. You get a light filled Devastator. Now, all of a sudden, it's going to be dripping just as much.
But the other issue, too, is going back to Baggate, too. Like, I feel like the ACL puts a lot of, I guess not puts a lot of expectations, but there just generally are expectations for the bag manufacturers to manufacture bags that are up to spec for their sport, which is fair. But if you're giving out these options for them that are then up for the manufacturers to uphold, like, it's creating a new problem where they're having to make a product that possibly doesn't match their specs anymore. Because if you
or
have,
it's not going to match it for very long.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you have a super thin bag that, or is normally already thin, it's normally at 16 on the dot. And then a customer is like, I want a 15.5. Why don't you guys offer this? And either one, you have to just honor that and send it to them, even though it possibly won't pass. Or you have to explain awkwardly, like, oh, we make a product that if you do this, it's not going to pass and it looks bad. Like, I don't know. I think it's just weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed emotions I have there.
Yeah.
I like the concept, but honestly, that ounce, I think it'll make a slight difference, but I don't think it'll be for the player's sake. I don't think it'll be drastic. Now, for other things outside of just the players, making TV fun, I think it'll be huge.
Yeah.
That's what you were kind of touching on earlier about the TV aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of what this is for, is just to not only make basic cornhole more fun, because I do agree with what you're saying. Like, I don't think at your local blind draw you're going to be, your neighbor is going to be asking you, like, oh, do you want to use my 15.5 ones or my 16.2s?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're going to see that going on like on a local scale. Maybe, but I think it's really going to boil down to large broadcast events. And it's gonna be more interesting stuff to talk about. It's gonna bring up the fact, like, oh, he's got 2 light bags left, or oh, this is surprising, he brought all heavy bags. Like, what, why is this? And so I think it'll be interesting to talk about.
I mean, we could be mistaken. That 16.5, it may drastically affect that bag. I know, because the specs now are like 0.25 above, or 0.25 below. I have a set of Venoms that I did 0.25 below on accident, and they play a lot different than my regular Venoms. But it's not, I wouldn't say a lot different. It's really just the hand feel that's different. The lighter filled ones are just a lot looser in my hand, and I think that's really the main effect.
Now, I've got a set of cheater Vipers because all the bags in it are the correct weight except for one.
Yeah, they're way light. I remember that bag.
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is that I would throw every single bag exactly the same. So I would have slide, but when I needed to hit an airmail, I would grab that bag, and it would just go in the hole.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I wonder if people will. And by the way, that was not intentional that the weight was less. It just was.
How recently have you been doing this?
Oh, it's been a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been this is like Series 1 limited Vipers.
Those green ones?
Yeah, like super old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if that's going to be something that people will take advantage of. I don't know.
I'm really interested in it.
My theory is that most of your high level throwers, they're not going to care at all. No. Like, I just don't see that happening. Because
a lot of it is just consistency. That's really what cornhole's about. And I do think having the same exact set of bags is going to be more important. And so, but it could be, those high level players could want just a heavier bag. And so instead of mixing it up like we're assuming, it could just be you see more of people who are whatever the new meta is going to be of either heavy bags or light bags.
Yeah,
I think going to be the new common thing.
I think you'll see those carpet guys lean more to the heavy side, and the slick bag guys lean more to the light side. And I think you're going to see more of that than you are the mixed sets.
Yeah, and I think depending on if the bags are flat or round pellets too, I think you'll see. Because I feel like going max weight on the round pellets is going to be odd. I feel like you lose a lot of like drippiness into the hole.
Yeah.
But
I think it'll be overall. I think it'd be cool. I'd really just want to see. I feel like it's either going to be like one of those things that it just gets brushed off and literally never talked about again, or it's just they're gonna surprise us all and it's just gonna take over. Be selling half sets everywhere. have guys
Yeah,
on
that's gonna be the
Addicted.
thing too. Yeah, on Addicted for sure, we're gonna start seeing people like, hey, I've
Ah.
got 3 heavies and a light. I don't like what I did. Does somebody have a heavy for sale? Or like
Yeah.
a trading a light for a heavy.
Yeah,
Oh my
Interesting.
gosh.
that's going to be a
Ooh.
nightmare.
Yeah, that's gonna be awful.
Well, let's talk about the bags that Titan is retiring.
I was about to say, yeah,
Wait, what?
the weights aren't the only thing changing going into next year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not?
I've seen some speculation amongst people in various Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, hit us with the news.
So obviously every year, we have a new stamp and a new season that goes in with Titan. And so we just finished out season 3, or we're finishing up season 3. And moving into season 4, we try to make room to be able to, provide new bags and kind of improve on what we have, improve the lineup for you guys. And every year we make hard decisions to have to cut, 2 to 3 bags to make room for new bags.
Or one of these decisions was it?
But moving forward into the 2024 season for ACL, we are going to be cutting the Killer, Swarm, and the Nightmare. I feel like the Nightmare is definitely the one that I didn't expect.
gonna
I'm
hurt.
sad about
That's
it.
going to be that's going to hurt. But we have amazing things to come.
There are
That's
good
the thing.
things coming.
Yes.
Yeah, that Nightmare, it's a great bag, but a lot of people have thrown it. You either love it, you hate it. So
And there are certain bags that you will see that do not appear in the lineup coming out soon
Mm-hmm.
that will be reintroduced.
Yep. They're just getting improved.
They are just in some very deep R&D stages with what is happening with them. So,
Yep.
and
Yeah, I think-
exciting things too.
Oh,
I think we have 3 bags currently in the deep R&D state.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them y'all will be familiar with, just revamped, made a little better, more
Mhm.
suited for what they are. And
Yeah.
then one completely new bag.
Yep.
So that'll be exciting. That'll be super exciting.
Yeah, definitely of the 3, I feel like we have one that's just a highly anticipated and expected bag, and then we have an all new bag, and then one I feel like is very heavy in R&D of just trying to figure out something completely new.
Yeah.
Completely new for Cornhole.
That
Right.
one's going to be fun. We've already been doing some little experiments, and it has been very, very interesting. Y'all are going to just have to wait for that one. That's going to be crazy.
Well, cool. All right. Well, just remember to like this video, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and use the code. Use the code. Don't forget. It's very important. But we will see you on the next episode. See you, everybody.